everybody, welcome back to TechTrex Fundamentals, and today we will be learning about the different types of if loops and if statements. Before we jump into the video, YouTube tells me that 70% of you watching are not subscribed. So please do subscribe if you learned something new from these videos, and also make sure to hit the like button if you want to get help and if you want to help me out. So without further ado, let's jump into the if loops. So there are basically three types of if loops: the if loop, else if loop, and the else statements. So first we will be talking about the classic if loops. So if loops are used to perform certain types of code blocks only if a certain condition is met. So for example, over here, if you would want to print out that x is 5 only when x is 5, and then you have defined x somewhere else, then you would implement this. So in this case, if x is equal to 5, then we would be printing out x is 5. But if x is equal to not 5, and if x is equal to 2 or 3 or any other number, then it would not print anything. So now that we know how it works, let's look into an example. So this is a program that I've made. It's a four-function calculator. I have made this previously to save time, and I'll show you how to run it, and then I'll show you what I did. So we click run, enter your first number. It could be like 12. And then operation, subtraction, and then 6. So we print out 6. So this is how we made the code. So over here, first we have our comment. Then we include our standard input output, which is to print these lines and take in scanf. And then over here, we declared our main loop. And then inside, we will be declaring variables. So we have declared 4 variables. The first one is our first number. Second one is our second number. Third one is our operation. And fourth one is our total. These are all values we'll be, other than total, these three are values that we'll be getting from the user. So these two are floats because it could be decimal, and this one is a character because it's either plus, minus, multiplication, or division. So over here, what we want to do is we want to print the person to enter their first number, and then we want to scan whatever he enters, and then we want to scan it as a float and send it to first name. We do the same thing again over here. We ask them for their second number, we scan it as a float, and we send that to a second number. And before that, we ask them for their operation. We send that as a character and send it to operation. So you'll notice over here, there's a little space. So this space is used to save white space. So I'll show you an example. Once we remove the space and we click run, when we enter 9, and then over here, as you see, it skips over enter your operation, and then it just goes straight up to enter your number and 5, and there you go, nothing happens. So the reason for this is when you enter your first number, you enter 9. And then when you click enter, so the first number, inside first number is stored our letter 9. And then when you click enter, that is stored inside your enter your operation. And since we did not define a white space over here, it'll just stay 0. So over here, you want to have a space. So any space there is a white space, it does not take in. These doesn't matter because this is a float and white space is not a float. And then over here, we use our if loops. So we say if the operation that the user inputs is a plus, then our total is addition. If it's minus, then we subtract them. If it's multiplication, then we do this. If it's plus, the total will come out to be first number plus second number. And since these conditions are not met, it'll skip over these. And then it'll click printf, print the total, and then return 0. So another way is 12. Let's just say you want to divide that by 6. Divide by 6 is 2 again. Next up, we have the else loops. Else loops are used to perform an operation if the if condition in the if loop fails. So for example, if you want to print 5 if x is equal to 5 and print x is not 5 if it is not, then we can do so by implementing a while loop or a else loop. This is shown with the correct syntax or if below. So what we want to do is if x is 5, then we want to print x is 5, or else then we want to print x is not 5. So this is how it works. If x is not equal to 2, then we want to print x is not 2. Or if x is equal to 2, then we want to print x is not 2. If x is 5, then you'll print x is 5, and we will not print this. So let's make this a little clear and give us an example. So over here, we'll be making an odd or even detector, which will tell you if the number is odd or even. So let's jump right into it. This is our function. So when we click run, we enter a number, which is 5. It tells us our number is odd. Or if you want to try an even number, it tells us our number is even. So this is how you do it. What you want to do is, again, we want to include this, set up our net main, and then we want to declare a number or an integer, which is going to be our number. And then over here, we want to take an input for that number. We want to tell the user to enter a number and then take it in as an input and send it to a number. And then over here, now we go into our if and else loops. So if number modulo 2, so modulo is a remainder. So if number remainder of 2, so if you divide it by 2 and the remainder is equal to 0, then it's even. Because let's just say if we have 4 or 8, and if we divide that by 2, there's no remainder, so that would be even. Or else it's odd. So a number can only be odd or even. If it's not divisible by 2 and does have a remainder, then it is considered odd. So this is what we use to make our function. Last but not least, we have the else if loop. So this is used to set conditions under which the program will run if the first if loop fails. If all the else if loops fail, then the else statement, if there is one, will take place. An example of this can be seen over here. So over here, what we're saying is if x is 5, then print x is 5. Or else if x is 3, then print x is 3. If it's not 5 or 3, then we want to say x is not 5 or 3. So this is our new loop. So we have the else if, and then we put in our condition, and then once again our loop body. So now, since we know all the if loops, we should try to make our for function calculator even more efficient. Over here you see we repeat if loops over and over and over again. So one way to do is we can use if, else if, and else loops to make it better. So this can be done like this. We add an else, and then we add an if, and then this will occur. And then you can also do so over here we have all our else statements, and over here we can use our else statement to even more of compatibility, and we can say we can declare it like this. So let's try to run this. So we enter our first number, enter our second number, and enter our third number, 6. And then we run this again. So let's try to have an error. And then if we say this, so this we know is not an operation. And then it says enter a valid operation next time, and it tells us this. And it, of course, prints out our total. So now we have this. Let me explain it to you what we did. So over here we have our main function, and all these are all same as last time. So now we have the if operation, and then we're saying if else, if this, or if not, if it's not this, and if it is this, then we do this. If it's not multiplication or all of these, and if it's division, then we divide. If it's not any of these, then we want to tell them to enter a valid operation from next time. Over here, you can include close parentheses to make this look even better. And then you can, of course, add an extra new line character. So it says enter a valid operation next time, and it just print 0 because there's nothing wrong with it. All right, everybody, thank you for listening in and tuning in. Make sure you like to subscribe, and make sure you like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.